Hey guys, Huzzy here, bringing you another video. Now, welcome to my patch note breakdown. I don't do these every patch. I kind of do them either when I feel like, or it's just good to do if there's quite a lot of changes and stuff like that. And I think this is a good one to do because it's like, we've had preseason. We've had, I think, one patch in preseason, but it didn't change that much, or it might have been a mini patch. This is kind of the first big patch, like legit patch in preseason. So all the stuff that we think is broken, this is the time that Riot can kind of change and fix it. And just to say, I have not looked at this myself yet. So before we even look at it, again, I haven't done it. My predictions, Zoe has to get nerfed. I'd say her E, the E probably should have a lot less range and a Q has to have less damage, right? That's the basics for Zoe. Ezreal and Gangplank, I'd say both of their Q damage should probably go down, or proccing Klepto or something like that. Who else? Who else is really strong right now? Hecarim can like one-shot people at level 3 with Predator if he gets early boots. So I don't know, they might do something there. But okay, there's my early predictions. My main prediction is Zoe. They're gonna reduce the range. Oh yeah, Ornn, that's a good one. Ornn probably will get some nerfs. What nerf would I give Ornn? Again, just remind, I haven't looked at the patch notes yet, so this is literally just speculation. What would I do to Ornn? I'd probably just, like, reduce his base health. Yeah, I'd reduce his base health slightly and maybe increase the cooldown on W by 1 second per rank. That's probably what I'd do. So yeah, my main prediction, Zoe, nerf. Her E range goes down, her Q damage goes down. Ezreal and Gangplank, Ezreal's Q damage goes down. Gangplank's Q damage maybe, but I'd say something to do with Kleptomancy probably has to change with him. And then Ornn, I'd say his base health has to go down and his W cooldown has to go up. So that's my main predictions. So we'll see if I'm right. Sometimes I like doing those. So let's begin. Okay, first one, Aurelion Sol. Again, when we're champions that we're not that interested in, we're just going to kind of read the basic. Under their name, they have a basic of what they're doing. If it's interesting, we'll actually look at the details, but if it's not, we'll just move on. So Aurelion Sol, the R cooldown has been reduced, therefore it's a buff. Bard, base health regen and meat per damage increase, so that's a buff for Bard. So there you go, Bard players. Camille, passive shield duration increase, Q recast window increase. That's pretty cool. I like Camille. I have not done a game on her yet because bruisers are not in a very good place right now. And that'll be another thing. Have they done anything for bruisers? Because they don't really have a good rune to go. So that'll be interesting to find out. But that'll help her for Camille. Like, the thing that you've got to think about is, will this force Camille to be meta? Or is this basically just helping people that already play Camille? I'd say right now, this is just helping people who play Camille. She's just a bit stronger. This isn't going to change where she is in the meta. Next one, Darius. Passive bleed damage and bonus AD and max stacks increased. Nice. So, yeah, they're basically saying he lost attack damage from further a battle and stuff like that, so we're buffing him up. That's pretty cool. I don't know. Again, I play Darius, so this is where we're going to kind of look a little bit more. From level 1 to 3, so it's same at level 1, but then it's an increase at level 2 and level 3. So his first blood potential might have just gone up. That's kind of interesting. Like, at level 3, he gets 40 AD when he gets his passive on somebody, like the 5 stacks or whatever. That's a BF sword. He gets a BF sword at level 3. Like, that's really good. So, he might make a little bit of a comeback now. Evelyn, W's magic resist shred now applies to the attacker ability that procs it. Okay, interesting. Okay, our first prediction, Ezreal Q ratio decreased. Okay, so we did predict a damage decrease, and I am technically correct, but I didn't think they'd do it this way. So his base damage of Q is staying the same, but they're reducing the scaling of it from 1.25 to 1.1. So it's considerable. It's a considerable nerf, but I actually thought they were going to reduce its base damage, not just the ratio. But okay, we're 1 out of 1 so far for our prediction. Galio. W now deals damage to champions. Passive ratio decreased. E cooldown decreased. So his passive has been nerfed. His W now can actually... So that's been nerfed because this actually does damage to champions. So that's kind of interesting. And then Justice Punch has also got buffed. So he can do it more often. That's interesting. Ivan. Oh, please don't make this guy strong. Grove health cost decrease. So that's when he kind of... caresses a jungle camp, goes oogie boogie instead of killing it, he doesn't lose as much health anymore for doing that. Oh, I hate Ivan. Please don't make that guy popular again. Jarvan, I have heard he's really strong with lethality. Passive and Q damage both decrease. So his passive's gone down to 8%, and his scaling has gone down in mid to late game. It's an alright nerf, I guess. It will stop him one-shotting maybe some people, but he'll still be strong. Karthus, our ratio increase. Whoa, what? They're buffing Karthus' ult by... They're buffing it by 0.15. That's huge. Holy moly. I played Karthus not that long ago in a commentary, and I was like, this dude is stronger in late game now than he has been in a while. What are they doing? They just buffed it even more. Like, yeah, losing Deathfire hurt him, but... Alright, play Karthus. Again, is this going to change the meta? Probably not, because he's quite a niche champion that a lot of people don't know how to play properly. They just get killed, like, go 0 and 10 in lane, because they don't know what they're doing. But for Karthus players, this is huge. If you're already a Karthus player, and if you know what you're doing, that's just like a pat on the back. There you go, have some more strength. That's really good. Leona, W damage decrease. That makes sense. She is kind of killing people by herself at the moment. Malzahar, R damage decreased. Okay, Malzahar nerf. In the quotation marks, I like that. Malzahar should need to press more buttons to kill people. Well, there we go. So by Riot's own mouth, that's what they think, and that I agree with it. So the actual base damage has gone down, as well as the scaling has gone down. So a pretty big nerf. Maokai damage decreased. Doesn't really fix his problem, though. The problem when you're going against Maokai in top lane was the amount of damage with sustain. Like, sure, they're nerfing the damage by a little bit, but his sustain is still going to be there. So it's like, is it really a nerf? Is it going to change his job? Probably not. Morgana. Whoa, there's a lot about Morgana. Base mana regen increased. Mana regen growth decreased. Passive no longer procs on small units, but heals more of everything else. W cooldown reduced when passive procs. Huh. Okay. Definitely not spellbound. Morgana heals for blah 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 on the damage her abilities deal to champions, large minis, large monsters. Are they trying to make her a jungler? Tormented Soil's cooldown is now reduced by 5% when they might be trying to make her a jungler. I have a funny feeling. Okay, that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. Ornn! Next prediction that we said. W damage reduced, cooldown increased. Oh, I got half of it right. I said his base health should go down, and I said his W cooldown should go up. So I got half of it kind of right, I guess. They haven't touched his health, which is interesting. But they're making the damage do less, and the cooldown is going up. So that's a pretty decent... It's a pretty decent nerf, to be honest. Like, he will get hurt by that. But I still think the health should have been there. Riven, Q damage increased. All Riven people are rejoicing right now. But again, this is needed. Bruisers right now are in crazy, crazy weak state. They don't have a rune to go to. They don't have fervor or stuff like that. So it's fine. So a little bit of a damage buff for her Q. Perfectly acceptable. Shen, Q damage bonus decreased. I agree with this. Shen is very strong right now. What? It was the last league discussion video. I put Shen on the screen as the game, and I was like dueling a Yasuo and doing bonus damage with Q, and he was getting chunked. So like, yeah, I agree with that completely. Sona, Q cost increased, Q's aura flat damage bonus decreased, and range ratio increased. So they're nerfing her early game, but potentially giving her an okay late game with it, I guess. Nah, not really. Like, okay, so it's going to cost a considerable amount of more mana. Wow, that's a lot more mana. So at level 1, it's going to cost 15 more mana per Q cost. Rip Sona. And then the actual damage has been cut in half, but given a 0.1 more AP power. So unless you get like really heavy AP in late game, this is a flat out nerf. Like, rip. Taric, base armor decreased. So again, it's to help the bruisers, I guess. Xin Zhao, base health decreased. W second hit ratio decreased. So a lot of people are abusing Xin at the moment because he's ridiculously strong if it's a comp that he can get on people. And And yeah, like, I think that's completely fine. I think he is a little bit too strong. Yorick, who again, Riot did say he was the most broken champ in the game right now. Base attack damage decreased. That's all they're doing to him. Really? They've just decreased his base damage by 3 at level 1. That's it. That's not really a big nerf. Okay, cool. That's not going to affect, like, anything. Unless, like, someone at level 1 survives 1 HP, then, yeah, that nerf has hurt you. But apart from that, yeah. Alright, my next prediction. So my predictions for Zoe was E should travel less, and the Q does less damage. It's really stupid when a level 10 Zoe can one-shot stuff. Like, you shouldn't be able to one-shot stuff with one spell at level 10. Anyway. W spell pickups last W spell pickups last less long. That's hard to say. E now travels less far. A, I got it. Slows less, but lasts longer. Okay. Wait, are they doing nothing? Okay, Q. I was going to say, if they weren't doing anything with the Q, I was going to cry. Now begins after Q cast completes, not when it begins. So it's a nerf, so she can't use Q all the time. It actually has to wait until it ends. That makes sense. Fixed a bug where Zoe's Q paddle star recuts. Yeah, that's just a bug fix. Fixed another bug. So they're just bugs. They haven't touched the damage of it. They've just affected its cooldown. I think they should have done something to the damage, but okay. Duration of the spell pickups from minions. So, oh wait, that is a nerf. Okay, so in lane, when a minion dropped a summoner spell, it was there for 40 seconds. Now it's only there for 20 seconds, so you've got to be really quick with picking stuff up. I agree with that. And then, Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Cooldown is now refunded on champion hits, not just hits. So before, the reason why she was really obnoxious, if she just threw an E out and it hit a minion, it would actually get refunded and the E would be basically back on cooldown. They've changed that to now just champion hits. So that's a little bit better. That's a little bit less obnoxious that there's like E's being flown all over the place. So that does help. The duration has gone up by 0.2 of a second. The slow, drowsy, progressively slowing, reduced by 20%. Whoa. The max travel distance passing over a wall has gone down by 150. So when you think of 150, that's like half an AD carry's attack range. Oh no, a bit less than that. It's a decent amount, put it that way. Trap radius has gone down as well. So she's just got nerfed, like flat out nerfed, which again, 100% agree with. It's too strong. So, but not touching the Q damage is a little bit weird to me because she's literally one-shotting people at level 10. What other champion does that with one spell? It's like none. Zyra. Base mana regen increased, mana regen growth decreased. So she has base mana regen, but then it doesn't grow as much. So it's helping her early game. W charge time reduced whenever Zyra kills an enemy, and W no longer increases plant health. Okay, just some basic changes to her. I'm not a Zyra player, so I don't really know if this is going to affect her in a positive or negative way that much. It looks like it helps her a little bit, maybe? I don't know, like, we'll see. Okay, so that's all the champions. So what did I say? I said Zoe, Ornn, Ezreal, and I said Gangplank, and there's no Gangplank. So they have not touched him. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting, I guess. Interesting. Alright, so now we're done with the champions. We're now moving on to items. Reflect damage now has lower base damage, but scales with armor. So it's now... Magic Reflect used to be 15 per Reflect. It's now only 3, but 10% of your bonus armor. So that's scaling into, like, late game. So all the top lane bruiser players are going to be happy about this, so they don't get punished as much in the early game. But when this is actually a buff in late game. So like when a Rammus has 300 armor, then it's actually going to be returning 33 reflect damage, not 15. So it's doubling it when someone gets high amounts of armor. So yeah, it's helping people in lane phase in top lane, but it's going to hurt them more in late game. So there you go. Sunfire, aura damage increased. Why are they buffing tank items? That doesn't make sense. Tanks are stupidly strong right now. Aura damage has been doubled. More than doubled. And bonus damage to minions has been cut by, you know, well, it's at 25% of what it used to be. High Ornn, these changes apply to Forged Fire Cape as well. So it's going to be doing just more general damage, which affects champions and minions, I guess. Oh, wait. If you work out the math, it might actually work out to be around the same to minions because it's doing... Okay, no, it's a small nerf, but it's it's doing more damage to champions. That's a bit odd. Runes. This is our first wide okay, so this is why I said this is why I'm doing this video on this one, because this is the first big patch of preseason. So this is where they are going to be changing runes. So any runes that we think are weak, this is where they should be changing them. My prediction, again, we see lethal tempo there, so we won't do a prediction of that. My prediction is one of the big ones that's going to be changed is the spellbook. I reckon that's going to be buffed in some way because hardly anybody's using it. What other runes? See, the others I don't think are terrible for the most part. I haven't experimented with that many tank stuff because I just haven't played tanks recently. So I don't know how tanks are at the moment. The only tank I've been playing pretty much is Ornn, and I just take Grasp the Undying or Aftershock on him, and they both feel kind of fine. So I don't really know. So I can't do that many predictions. So the first one is Lethal Tempo. The cooldown on Lethal Tempo has been cut down to 6 seconds, so this is going to help people, which does make a little bit of an interesting thing. I'm sure we all watched some videos, and we've seen recently Vaynes kill everything in late game with Lethal Tempo. Or press the attack. That might make Lethal Tempo a little bit more appealing. Because they're nearly halving its cooldown, which is pretty strong. Fleet Footwork base heal has gone down in the early game, but okay, so its minimum has gone down, but its maximum has gone up. Okay, attack damage heal ratio has gone up by 20%, and ability power heal ratio has gone up by double. Pretty big buff. And then critical levels. If the attack that activates Fleet Footwork is a critical hit, Fleet Footwork's healing is increased by 40% of your critical damage modifier. That's a lot of healing. Wow. Okay. 80 carries are going to be happy if they take Fleet Footwork. Interesting. Heroism. So what are these? Okay, so these are the different lines, I guess. Overheal, shield generation rate has gone up, so a buff, I think. Triumph, which is the one that when you kill people, you get a little bit of a burst back of health after you've killed somebody, has gone down by 3%. That's understandable. And Presence of Mind has got a higher duration of 7%. I can't remember which Presence of Mind is, but there we go. Coupe de Grace, Coupe de Gras, whatever you want to say, has been nerfed by 1%, which is when somebody is low health, you do more damage to them. So this is a nerf to that. And that's it. Domination Tree. Eyeball collection. Eyeballs per assist has gone down to 1 instead of 2. They were probably finding that they were even supports or people getting assists were getting to 20 stacks too quick. So they're slowing that down. That makes sense. And then Hunter, I'll hunt you. Tooltip. Tooltips for all 3 Hunter runes now show who have and haven't killed. That's really good because sometimes these are for the runes that you've got to kill everybody in the game to get a benefit. Sometimes I don't know who I have killed and who I haven't. So now it's actually going to tell you who you still have to kill, like a Rengar type thing. So that's kind of good. Sorcery, Phase Rush. Melee Phase Rush users are almost universally outperforming their ranged counterpatriots. So we're giving the ranged users the slow resistance as well. So the slow resistance was only for melee champions, but they're now giving that to melees, which is kind of interesting because there is one champion that I saw use Phase Rush not that long ago, and it seemed really strong on him, and he would benefit from a slow resistance. But it doesn't really help him, but it's Udyr had the slow resistance. So what ranged champions would benefit from that? I'm not really sure, but okay. And then Excellence, Celerity, Movement Speed has gone down to 3% instead of 4%. Okay. Resolve, Mirror Shells, Magic Resist has gone up by 1. Vitality, Marks of the Wall, HP text now appears above minions when you gain health from attacking them. So that's the one that I think that when you kill minions, you gain health or something like that. Revitalize, say thank you, now also boosts shields and heals cast on the user. Okay, cool. Makes you more tanky. Klepto. Okay. We're really happy with how Kleptomancy has landed, but we still think there's room for improvements to the internal item generator that feeds it. Our goal is to reduce the gap between the extreme cases, be it the best champion in the class using it, Ezreal for example, or champions who would fall behind and weren't able to recover from it. So if you're playing Ornn with it, you might get punished too much. So they've removed "You're Too Far Away." No longer increases attack range by 25%. So that's the one that, like, when you used Klepto, you got a bonus 25% range, 25 range randomly, so you could get an extra auto attack off. That was really weird. And then updated so many items. Loot table mechanism updated to decrease variance in loot over time. Okay, interesting. We're not going to go over these bugs, so if you want to read them, you can. Alternate map rune balances. Again, they're different maps. We don't really care. That's like ARAM and stuff. Pings. 1 charge remaining ping has been added. And hang in there. Pinging a turret, nexus, or inhibitor now messages its percentage health remaining in team chat. That's quite useful because you're like, oh, how low is that tower? Boom, you'll have it straight away. Ability items have been updated with these like stuff. Apparently, there's a new health bar in the game, and a lot of people are mixed about it. Some people like it, some people hate it. I haven't experienced it yet, so I'll probably say it in the commentary that I record today. So there's a lot of stuff about it. Again, like, this is all about the health bar, pretty much. And that's probably it. Parties, you now have the ability to invite people from your party from the end of game screen without adding them as a friend. That's kind of cool. Clubs, I didn't even know clubs are still a thing. Like, I guess they are still a thing, but I didn't know you could even make them anymore. And the new skins for this patch is Ambitious Elf Jinx, Santa Draven, and Snowfawn Poppy. That is, look, very low res image. New emotes, returning emotes. There's new missions. Legend of the Poro King is back. Snow Battle Aruf is here. And a lot of bug fixes. And upcoming skins for this patch as well is Hextech Cogmore, which I'll get. So that is the patch. So does that mean they're not doing a loot thing? There's no specific loot boxes for Christmas? That kind of sucks. But interesting patch. Quite a lot to go through, so hopefully you guys got that. Again, if there's anything that you're like a little bit confused on, just read through the patch notes yourself. There is no excuse anymore because they're literally inbuilt in the client. But that's going to be the extra video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Like, if you're happy about some of the nerfs, if you're sad about some of them, if you think there's something that should have been there that isn't, let me know all that stuff down below. I'll be reading through them all. If you guys like the video, throw a like on it, subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.